On this week's episode of Up All Night, I have Coleslaw. Coleslaw is a DJ and entertainer from New England living in Providence, one of my longtime close friends, and we got into all kinds of stuff. We talked about our reality shows that we were on OTV. We talked about Boston drag and Providence drag. We talked about our legendary brunches that we did back in the day. So make sure that you listen, like, subscribe, and I want to bring to the stage, the virtual stage, the lovely Coleslaw. Hi, how are you?
Hello, how are you, Bobby Knight? It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness. Just before we came on a little behind the scenes, Coleslaw was having fun with filters, which is great.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What are
Who
these
doesn't love a
earrings?
filter? Oh, well, this one's a Subway sandwich,
Uh-huh. Eat fresh.
and this one's like a cupcake from Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you make that yourself?
No, I just have like hundreds of earrings, and I just put whatever catches my eye on. I
Yeah,
made
you have a
I made a
very
latte.
oh good, and you have a very specific taste. So, anyways, I wanted to just hang out with you on the pod because we've been friends for like, oh my God, how long? Over 10 years, right?
A very long time.
We met in at Machine in Boston, which is gone and is now have you been to in that area lately? It's like one of those emergency clinics or something.
It's it's there was a rumor they were going to turn it into a theater, but I feel like it's definitely not a theater.
No, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. I don't think that's ever
I
gonna
think
happen.
they were just saying that so that all the fucking queers wouldn't like burn the building down.
I mean, the building was getting burnt down either way. It was so funny when that happened that everyone was so mad about Machine getting sold when it wasn't, they didn't come in and steal it from us. The owner sold the building.
Uh
Well, at least Jocks is still standing. But we've known each other for a while. We met at
yeah,
Machine.
I was just thinking today, actually, it seems like there's so many sold out shows there. I feel like they had a switch over of management, and now I think like JP and MT Hart run it. Am I wrong? I don't know why you would.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know why I'm asking you.
well, because I just found out that that the old manager there, old Mrs. Friendly, she only works like 1 day a week now, and it's
Yeah, it's like
someone else.
a new
Yeah,
vibe, and it looks like there's sold out shows like every night. It's pretty wild.
good. That's how it used to be. When I did my very first show with Jocks, it was for Perestroika. No, it was for I can't say the name of it anymore because it's a slur. Shack, trans person Shack, and it was sold out, and it used to always be so busy there. I remember when I was like living with Fina and stuff, she would come home with like a bag of money from working at Jocks. Then by the time we got there, I was making $40 if I was lucky in a snowstorm.
Yeah, it there was a period where it was slim pickings.
Do, do you remember like Seven of Azima would come in and I'd be performing and they'd just be like eating, and
Yeah,
I'd just stop because it was just them, and I'd just like take a bite of their food. There's nothing, like nothing to
yeah.
do there. But when we first met at Machine, you were not Coleslaw yet. You were DJing under a different name. And
Yeah.
what made you like what made you decide to start like even trying with drag?
Well, it's a long story, but I guess we got time.
Hmm.
Um, so I'd always played around with like costumes and like I used to have a collection of like jogging jackets from the 80s and 90s the old ladies used to wear,
Hmm.
the fishy ones. So I always used to play around with that, but I always was afraid to start doing makeup because I knew I would look stupid. So then I was like, you know what? 5 or 6 years into DJing, I was like, I'm just gonna accept that I'll look stupid and just have fun with it. So
Right.
then I started playing around with makeup, knowing that it was bad, and I called myself Coleslaw because I'm disgusted by it. And it was a little joke for me.
Do you even
It,
you don't like coleslaw even, do you?
I hate it. I hate it. Um, Still, actually, I have been putting some red cabbage in salads.
Well, that's baby steps. How many times I can't tell you how many times I see anything, anytime anyone mentions coleslaw, I'm like, I have to send you a pic. I have to send you a pic. And then I was like, I don't even think she likes coleslaw.
You and so many other people.
Oh my God. Imagine just like being, does anyone ever bring you coleslaw while you're DJing?
No.
That's something Megan Smokler would have done.
Yeah.
She used to bring us mozzarella sticks. Good for her. Uh,
Oh,
so you
I
did,
miss her.
did you ever, you did the amateur contest or whatever it was called at Machinima for a Monday, right?
Hmm.
And you won.
Well, that's where I started like playing around with performing because there's a difference between like walking around the club in a look and like actually doing a performance and trying to get people's attention that way. But yeah, I started at All Star Mondays performing and they had a monthly contest and I eventually won. So yeah,
Congrats.
that was I remember I felt like the most accomplished person in the world.
Well, the thing about Machine and Jocks and stuff like that is like so many of us looked up to people that worked there for a long time, and it is like I felt like it was a big deal when I got my first show there. I never won anything. I won one of those, but someone who we won't name threw a fit because she thought she should have won, and I was moving to San Diego, so I said it's fine, you can have the win. So I never technically won my Monday that I was there, and I remember I thought it was. I just started doing drag and also auditioned for Drag Race in the same year because I was like, oh, absolutely, yeah, I got this. Why
And you
wouldn't they?
auditioned for 25 times after that, right?
I auditioned 12 times for Drag Race. 12. And
Woo!
I never took the hint. I was like, no, maybe it was just the video was bad. So it couldn't possibly be me.
That's a lot of work.
The first time I ever auditioned, I got they were doing the voting round still, and they put me in it for voting. And I remember it was like me, April Showers, someone else who ended up getting on were top three, and we kept fighting back and forth for votes because it was all about just getting your friends to vote. And then they brought in Adore Delano, and she blew everyone out of the fucking water. But because she had just been
Mhm.
on American Idol, so she like buried us. But there was a queen from Boston who did drag for a little bit who cheated the votes, so they stopped allowing the voting to happen. I was
Oh.
like, that would have been I think my only way to get on. Yeah, but did that. She had a friend that like went to the like library and had this auto voting thing and put it on all the library computers. So it would just
Hmm.
auto keep voting for her. I was like,
I mean,
smart.
there's always someone who is going to be able to like cheat the technology. They do the same thing with streams, I think. That's how people get like
Hmm.
you see an artist on Spotify who has like 3 billion streams. Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, people, you can just buy followers, views. You can just buy everything now. I mean,
Wild.
even TikTok and Instagram, when you go on, they're always like, they always try to like for me and Saint Anique, they always try to take our post down, and then in the same email, they're like, "Would you like to promote this post?" It's like, well, which is it? Do you want to see us or not? Or they're like, no, if you pay us, you can keep it up. It's
I
like
really don't understand how they pick and choose about like what sexual content can be on Instagram and TikTok because like I swear to God, a lot of it is just like soft porn.
literally,
You could see penises and shit through
yeah,
underwear and like titties and like so
uh-huh.
how do they pick and choose? Is it they target queer people?
They do,
Probably.
and I think they target queer people, and I think once you get targeted, you're like in a folder for them, and so whenever you post shit, it probably goes through their filter. But
A
it's like
folder.
a whole folder of my wiener on Mark Zuckerberg or whoever owns Instagram's computer. I would like to think that it personally is Mark Zuckerberg taking my post down.
Is he alive?
No, RIP.
Oh,
RIP. You
he's
didn't hear the
he's
news?
an android,
He
right?
passed away this morning. That's what this pod's about.
They stole his soul. He looks like so empty behind the eyes.
Right? You know what's funny too that we're saying this is earlier for no reason when I was working out, I was doing the worst leg day ever. And in my mind, out of nowhere, I just said to myself, Winklevoss twins for no reason.
Hey,
Yeah, from the Facebook. Didn't they invent Facebook or he stole it from them or they stole it from him?
I don't know the
Winklevoss.
history. I didn't see that Social Network movie.
I did in the theater on a date.
I feel like it would be so boring.
Do you think I have a good track record with dating or bringing anybody on dates? How long have you known me?
It just end in
Obviously.
mutual masturbation.
No, we probably slept together and then I acted like a fucking insane person for 3 weeks after that. That's probably what happened. That's usually how it goes. So, anyways, we both did drag. You won. I technically didn't. And then we as we were talking about, I always try to get on reality TV. I've tried out for every show several times, never worked. You were on court TV or Judge
You're skipping over a chunk of our history. Aren't you going to talk about our brilliant renaissance of drag brunches that
oh
was
my
started by
God.
us?
Well, our Renaissance of drag. Do you know how that? So, do you remember in Boston for the viewers, there was never really like a every city now has like 19 brunches. There weren't really there was two, and one of them was your brunch. And I think it was you, Severity, and Lucille that started it, and Nia.
I'm talking about trophy room.
That's what
Are
it
you,
was. Yeah, the one at Trophy Room. Because I didn't start. I didn't start there. I showed up there.
I can't even remember the first one, but ultimately it ended up being us for.
It ended up being us, but I showed up in drag one day, hungover, and I'd still literally I think I slept at Severity's. I don't think I got out of drag, and I showed up in drag one day, and they were like, you were so much fun. You should do this." I was like, "Yeah, I'm fucking wrecked. Like I haven't slept yet." But we started at Trophy Room, and it's so funny that it was such a small space, and we used to pack that place for
Yeah.
brunch and bingo and drag race viewing parties. That was such a cute spot. It sucks how that all went down there. And you
Yeah.
bartended there.
It went down in flames, but hey,
That
uh,
that's where
it
bothering
was
tables
a fun 4 years or whatever.
that's where bothering tables got originated. There was a queen who would just come and bother tables. Good
To
for
this
her.
day, she still is.
I heard she's doing great. I heard she's doing great. She tried we're not going to say who it is because who gives a shit, but I remember she would like get up, we'd perform Lady Marmalade, and she would get up in the middle, and I spun around and I hit her, and she went and said that I did clothesline her, not on purpose, but it was funny. And then she was trying to say I attacked her. She was just get up in the middle. Oh my God, that same wig. Anyhow, we went.
Uh, I wouldn't doubt you actually attacking her, to be honest.
Me
The
either. I don't
the
remember, so it
rage
doesn't.
that this person brought to you, pretty wild.
I once made a shirt that said "desperate for dollars" because she told me I was desperate for dollars. Remember,
I mean,
I used to just sell merch at Trophy Room. I used to just make T-shirts and sell them at Trophy Room out of my trunk.
didn't you have a USB card swiper thing on
Yes,
your phone?
my Square reader. That was so funny. That's where I
Simpler
also taught
times.
Meg. I taught Megan how to drive. She didn't know how to drive, and I got her in my new Lexus. And I was like, all right. And I didn't think she was going to do what you see in the movies. And she put her whole foot down on the gas in those boots. And we went flying down that little street. So I had to reach over and hit the brake. And she went flying forward.
Oh my God.
Yep. I was like, what could
Terror.
go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
Does she drive in Philly?
She said she was getting her license or driving someone's car the other day. And I was like, not with those knees. Not with those rickety old knees.
I saw her on Halloween at the big gay mafia event that Severa was at, and she dead ass did not recognize me. I looked her into her eyes and I was like, and she was like this.
What is
Just like walked away.
she was obsessed with us for like 5 years. Like
And
every
then I went home and told Severity, I was like, I think I just got mad shaded by Megan.
she recognized you. She doesn't want to talk to you, bitch. She's friends with
Oh,
Saphira now. Drag Race's Saphira. But
yeah.
that
Can, how do you feel about that? I mean, obviously, it's just so incredible. It feels so surreal watching it on TV.
I get excited to watch like genuinely excited to watch Drag Race again. Like for a while during the viewing parties, it was fun to watch because it was work, and then it was kind of like I'm just gonna watch it because I've tried out and watched it for so long. But like I'm genuinely like, oh, I'm gonna see. I can't wait to see what our friend does on TV this week. That bitch,
Exactly.
how does she fit so far? Like the pumpkin, the plant thing. How did she fit those?
They probably let them mail stuff.
They must do it different now, huh? They must
They
let
have
them just like set like mail things or something.
um
But
yeah,
it's
I'm so happy for her.
all those giant costumes, but one pair of shoes.
I mean,
It's
I remember she did always have only a couple pair of shoes.
nothing. She doesn't have any shoe budget. She has pumpkin and flower budget, but no shoe budget. I was shocked.
She's about to have a budget when she wins this season. It's like
She's
mad
gonna,
obvious.
I think it's gotta, if it's not her, it's gotta be Nymphia, I think. It's
Yeah,
gotta be one of
it's
them.
gonna be um I think it's gonna be Nymphia and Sphera, and then I think the top the fight for like the top three is gonna be between Plane and Q. Just
Yeah,
my 2 cents.
that's how I feel too. I felt the same way. I was gagged when Plane got on because I don't remember her ever talking about auditioning or wanting to be on. So I was like, when you find out like the early like whispers of what the cast is, and I was like, no shit. And then part of me is always like,
Um,
are you kidding? I
I
worked at
wasn't
Jocks.
I wasn't surprised just because she fits the RuPaul aesthetic like so well,
Hmm.
and she's funny
And
and
she knows what she's doing.
mean.
She's playing a part too. She's like she knows exactly.
Listen, I can't even tell you how many of my friends from around the drag friends from around the country have been messaging me like, "Do you know that Plain Jane bitch? She's so mean." And I'm like, "You guys don't understand."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
she's trying to get more airtime.
yeah. She
Like, you
wants
have
to
to
be
go
a
into it
villain.
with a game plan. Like, you have to know
Yeah,
like what she even said it in the last episode. She was like, "Yeah, like I just wanted to live my villain fantasy."
yeah.
Um, I've
It's
been defending her. I have.
it'll be funny. I'll be bartending, and on I do like Saturday Sunday days, so a lot of like the brunch gays come out after the show, and they're always I'll just be overhearing them like making a drink, and they'll be like, "Fucking Plain Jane," like they'll say some like they'll be, "I can't stand her, I can't stand her," and I want to be like, "No, she's not like that," but I'm like, "Oh, whatever." Let her live her villain life, but no one's
People are
saying like
so
how
unbearable.
no one's saying how good like there's she's doing the right thing because even if she loses, everyone spoke about her the whole time. They're not talking about like Nymphia's looks or like Saphira. They're like, can you believe what that bitch said on TV last night?
Exactly.
And it was wild because when a mandatory meeting was at Roscoe's here, Plane was here in the audience, and everyone was like
Wait,
speculating on like,
really?
yeah, bitch. And they were speculating though they were like, oh, she's there to like confront her or fight her. I was like, no, she's not. Like, Plane didn't catch a flight here to go fight a mandatory meeting at Roscoe's. Like,
Oh my God.
but all those people on those drag the venomous fans, they make up like the best fan fiction. I'm like, I wish it was real.
Yeah. I also like knowing Saphira so well, from when she was in Boston. It's so funny in those situations where they're all like being catty and like going back and forth. You just see Saphira and she's just like,
Hmm.
and it's like, and that was like how she was
Yeah. We'd be
with
at
the
after parties and she would all be like screaming, yelling, talking, drinking, and she'd just be like hanging out.
lit.
Yeah, sitting there. Yep. Oh my God. I really do hope she wins because then maybe we could ask her for some money.
Uh, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna do that.
I'm gonna. First, not congratulations, first order of business. Can I have $73?
Oh my God.
I I was I was thinking about how when you started DJing in drag, did you ever bartend in drag either?
I did for a little bit at the circuit nights at Legacy.
Did you
And I
think
hated it.
it's way hard? Do you think it's harder to do that than to DJ in drag?
It's not a matter of being hard because I never really wore like uncomfortable things. Obviously,
You're
if I'm
not in
gonna
a
be like
gown. Yeah.
active and bending over, I'm not gonna like be wearing tight clothes. But I personally wore drag when I was bartending because the other bartenders, I wanted to stand out,
Hmm.
catch people's attention, and it worked. I mean, I made okay money. So yeah, I don't know.
I did it
I
for
think
Ryan.
it's worth it.
I did it for Ryan Landry's. When he would do the plays at machine, I bartended in drag for one of like the runs of one. I hated it.
I
I
haven't heard
hated it.
that name in a while.
Right. But I also hated being in drag from like the moment, you know me. I would get in drag and then be like waiting to get out of drag every moment.
Uh,
I was I'm like I tell these bitches here, these drag queens here, I'm like I can get out of drag in 60 seconds. I can
you
get
really can.
fully
It's
out
like
of drag.
tricking.
Yeah. I'm like get it the fuck off of me.
I have noticed someone else that does that now. when Corey King is booked at Lucy, she'll do her number and then like literally 5 minutes later she'll be out like as a boy.
Mm-hmm.
It like blows my mind.
I'm like, get me out of it. It's so uncomfortable. I like it. I complain the whole time I get ready until I'm ready. I put in the lips and the look, and I'm like, oh, cute. Have a couple drinks, and then I'm like, all right. And then it's like 6 more hours of drag to go, especially on those Sundays. My God, I
Yeah,
remember like taking a nap in the car and drag like this in between stuff. But
yeah, pretty horrific.
well, my drag in general,
Oh,
my drag in general. I swear to God,
you'd be
though.
like half hour late. I'm looking for parking. We'd be like, where the fuck is Bobby? I'm looking for parking.
I'm not coming. I'm not coming. Oh my God, that drive, that horrible. I don't know why I did that either. Why I would like work the night before I had to do a brunch. That was a nightmare. Hosting karaoke at Machine and not getting home till 4 in the morning.
Probably because you're trying to make money, honey, is the
And,
hustle.
and they don't pay a lot, so you have to do every friggin' gig. But I mean, it all paid off because you got on a reality show before I did. You were on Camp Wanakiki. Which season were you on?
Season 4.
Season 4. And I knew about this show because Debbie Fox was a friend of mine here from Chicago, and I remember she got on. I think she was on season 1 of that show. Might be
You
wrong. She
go,
could have been on
Debbie.
2. Love for her. So what was it like going to film Camp Wanakiki? Like I remember how you were so excited when you were going, and was it what you thought it was going to be? Like was like reality TV what you
Well,
thought?
it happened. It happened during quarantine, so I didn't have anything else. I didn't have anything else going on, so of course I was gonna do it. It just was frustrating because there was such a small amount of time from when I got the list of looks
Hmm.
or the themes until I had to leave, and I also had to buy my own goddamn plane ticket, which
What?
is ridiculous. Yeah,
No, I didn't know that.
there's no budget at all. I
Yeah,
mean,
but they're 4 seasons
now that
in.
they're picked up by LTV, I don't know if they're gonna give them a little more money, but
They gotta.
it was so frustrating, like financially. And then it was like a double gut punch because when you get back, and the show comes out, you realize that no one watches it,
Yeah,
and it was pretty upsetting. Like, I don't even think most of my friends watch the fucking show.
that's
So
fucked up. That's fucked up. I mean, I
it
liked it.
hurt. It did hurt, and then I kept going back and forth, like well, whatever. It doesn't mean I don't know, but then I'm like, but they're not supporting you. I
Hmm.
don't know. It
Yeah.
it, it played games with my brain. Actually, when I think about Camp Wanakiki, I do get a little like,
Hmm.
uh, not that I had a bad experience per se, but I got nothing out of it.
Yeah, it didn't like you didn't get any of the
Nothing.
benefits of it. Yeah.
I got a booking in Ohio with Clinica, and that's it.
Well, that sucks, but you did the premiere party that you did at the Museum of Science in Boston was fucking sick. And the Omni
Yeah,
Day, that was
I
so
did.
cool.
I organized the first premiere party for the franchise in Boston, and we had a sneak preview of the first episode on the IMAX theater, which was pretty
That was
fucking
really
cool.
cool.
And the host and the whole cast was there. And also speaking of the cast, I met amazing people. I still talk to some of them today, here and there. But yeah, I think that was the best thing I got out of it is meeting some really cool, interesting
Yeah.
artists. Hmm.
I mean, that was a cool. I tried to take a picture with you that day, and you told me that I had to wait in line, and it costs $50.
Yes, because that's how I talk.
Shoved me out of the way. That was really cool. We also did you do shows at the planetarium there at the Museum of Science.
Yeah, so I do inside the planetarium, and it was actually the first of its kind.
Yeah. That was I
When Chicago tried to rip us off
those
with
who
Halo.
I'll go down the street and get them right now.
No,
I
it's all
remember
good. I don't blame them. I would have ripped it off too because it's a great idea.
it is a really cool idea. I worked one or two of them with you, but
Mhm.
I remember it was really, really fun. I just loved it because I grew up going to the Museum of Science with my aunt passed away when I was really young. I was close with her, but she used to bring me there like every weekend almost. Whenever I wanted to go, she'd just be like, sure, we can go. And being able to like have performed in that space that I grew up going to, and then like seeing my like queer friends on the friggin' in the Omni Theater on a giant screen was really cool. Because like some of my best memories are like those musical stairs and that marble machine and stuff. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I got to drink at the Museum of Science, which was also really cool.
Wild.
I remember I went with Sam Orlando to like the bar outside on the water, and we had margaritas before we went in. I was like, what a fun day this was.
Yes. Oh my God. I every time I work there, I just feel so lucky because James Monroe,
Hmm.
you know, he's married now, so it's Monroe.
Oh, I call him Cool Hand Jim still, so it doesn't matter.
Um, yeah, he's amazing. He's been so supportive. And always make sure that we're treated so well. I love working there.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
he's
We
super
used to
cool.
have two or three shows a year, and now it's down to like pretty much one, which sucks, but it's not anyone's fault. It's just they've been having like issues with their staff or something, staffing,
Hmm.
something like that.
Well, maybe you can do a Pride show or something this year. That'd
I
be
think the
cool.
next one's in June, actually. Yeah.
I mean, don't us gays get enough? We get a whole month, equal marriage. Jesus, someone should stop us before it gets too late.
Yeah. Oh God.
But they when I ended up doing when I ended up doing my show and not having to do it in drag, I stopped doing drag after because I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a million other shows and I don't need any of this. And I gave away almost all of my drag. And now I like really want to do it here every now and again. I have my pads and my tits, and that's it. So and every time I'm like, I want to do drag, I didn't realize how expensive it is to like restart. I have my makeup, but like to restart doing it, because after like over the years at my place back in Boston, I had like two closets and like just shit everywhere. And now I'm
I've
like, oh,
heard stories of that legendary closet, but I never got to see it.
I had so much junk because I never threw anything away either. Because you know how themes would be like Violencia would be like next week is like rotten mayonnaise. I'm like, what the fuck? And I have to like go
It's still like
through.
that.
Oh, good, good, good. But you ended up moving out of Boston to the great state of Rhode Island, to the Mecca, Providence.
Hell yeah.
And how do you think, how is Providence different or better than Boston? I'm not saying Boston now in its state, like you know how Boston was when we were like up and coming and everything. Do you think that Providence gives everyone more opportunities? Do you think it's a fairer shake than it is?
Um, it's a loaded question. Um, so first of all, the scenes are very different.
Hmm.
Mm, not necessarily. I think that fuck, how do I answer this? Um, First of all, no one wants to pay a cover to go to a show in Providence.
Yeah,
Um, and if you have a cover, people pretty much aren't going to come,
yeah. But then if you don't have a cover, you
which
can't get
makes a
talent.
conundrum.
Right.
But there's the conundrum because then you can't pay your cast and you
Hmm.
can't make a profit. Why would we want to do produce shows if we're not going to make a profit? Um, and I have a monthly show called Time Warp, and I charge $15 at the door because I refuse to pay out of pocket, which I actually end up having to pay people out of pocket.
Right.
Anyways, that's another story. What I'm getting at is all of the shows are no cover, and they're all open stage shows, so no one gets paid. It's just an opportunity for up and coming people or people who are established to go and show face and get some pictures and do a
Hmm.
number so people notice them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shading that. But what I'm saying is it kind of makes things a lot more difficult whenever you do want to actually make money off of your art,
Hmm.
you know what I'm getting at?
Because if you go do something for free, no one's ever going to pay you. And I've said that a million times. Because if we say no, someone else who just wants to be on a stage will do it. It's at the point where they don't care about the quality of the performance or what's happening. They'll just take the free person, and then the show's quality goes down because I think a lot of these clubs, they're like, whatever, we'll make all our money when a drag race girl comes through. We'll book a drag race girl, and that like
They don't even do that in Providence.
they
Oh,
don't. Ego
they
doesn't.
do. They do it ego,
Hmm.
but that's different because ego's like
Yeah.
it's like a different crowd. It's all like young people. It's the only 18 plus thing, I
Oh,
think.
that's right. They are 18
And
plus.
I just DJ'd there this past Saturday or maybe last week. And I felt like I was at a high school. I felt like I was DJing a high school prom. Wild.
When they do the circle and they each take turns doing a dance move in the middle. Do you
Yeah.
remember the 18 plus night at when Machine would
Yeah,
do it? They would sit on the ground and watch the drag show. So me and Severity started sitting on the ground. They would sit down like crisscross applesauce on the ground
I do remember
and
that.
watch it. I'm like, what is happening? Then the straights found out and started coming in and trying to get with the girls. Like, it
Yeah,
was such a weird time.
that's kind
But
of what Ego Friday or Saturday was like. But also, because it's so young, most of our type of people,
mhm.
25 and up crowd, don't want to go there because it's like children running around. But
Yeah.
if you're into that sort of thing, you go, girl. Go on,
Work.
Saturday.
Yeah, I
But
remember bartending or hosting on those Friday nights at Machine, and I would stay in the back till it was time to go on because they're just young and literally running around. Like literally running around the place. I'm like, this ain't it. This ain't it. But I mean, at least I had someplace to go. When I turned 18, all the 18 plus clubs turned 21 in Boston. And then when I turned 21, they started doing some 18 plus nights. So I never really, I mean, I got a fake ID and I would go out, but I never really had like a place to go and see gay people or drag artists or anything until
yeah,
I was older. I started working at Avalon when I was 18 because I lied about my age, but they never had, it was always I did Sundays, so I just go dance. So I saw like Misery and Chris and stuff like that. That was like, that's all I knew. I used to be obsessed with Mahogany Brown. I used to be obsessed with Mahogany Brown. I don't know why. I would like lose my shit like she was a goddamn celebrity every time she walked by. Obsessed.
isn't that name redundant? Should that's like saying like Ruby Red or
Well,
like
she quit
Scarlet
drag, and that's
Red,
probably why. Yeah.
Mahogany Brown. I mean, it rolls off the tongue.
I mean, Ruby Red's a little bit better. That is, you're right, Ruby Red too. Why do they do that? Well, I'm gonna get to I'm gonna call Ocean Spray and ask them why that grapefruit juice is named Ruby Red. They'll be next on the pod, featured. I'm in the hot seat. So,
You know,
anyways,
on the open stage thing, I get it. I do. I
mhm,
really get it. And that's how I as well as most of my peers now who are hosting shows in Boston and otherwise got started. You don't just start doing drag and just like you need a place to like
yeah,
learn about the ins and outs and the performing, what works, what doesn't, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, it,
it's a
there
community
also
building thing.
right. There also needs to be a place that like if you just aren't good at performing and you've done it for a while, like you and someone tells you they can't be you can't be in the show, like it's just a weird thing. There are people that have been doing open stage shows and whatever for a bit, and they just like weren't good on this like stage. There was one person in particular who would like flip out every time she like lost on that Monday and run out of the building. Well, crazy pants there with the throw down the gauntlet. Like that's wild. I'm not gonna book you in my show. Like wild. But I mean, if I
Yeah.
had to get booked based off of that, I never would have. I was lucky that I slid in before that because like I don't dance. I tell jokes. I tell jokes and look pretty sometimes on like a really good day. That's about it. But where do you DJ weekly now so people can go see you if they're in town?
I work at the stable in Providence, which is a pretty small bar, but it has a big heart.
Hmm.
Where did that come from? I
I
don't know.
don't know. They're gonna put it
Um,
on a t-shirt though.
I kind of hated it. Yeah, so I'm at the stable on Washington Street. I'm there usually every Friday and Sunday. I'm at Legacy nightclub in Boston on Thursdays, and that's like the drag night at Legacy.
Hmm.
So that's where the drag race people come. This is another thing. There used to be an early show, and the management decided to stop the early show
Heard about this.
um 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Um and yeah, it's a huge bummer. I haven't posted about it because I don't want people messaging me and being like, wait, what does it say time left?
2:33 because it's we'll have to go off and back on if we go
Oh.
over because I don't know why.
Um, yeah, I don't want people messaging me like like bitching about it
Like you
because it
did
has
it.
nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's I mean,
but the early show at this at Legacy was very, very much more organized than it. Like there was no last minute like, hey, I'm here in drag. Can I do a number?
yeah.
Download this song for me.
Yeah.
Everything had to be sent in. There was 10 people max, and every song had to be under 4 minutes. So it was very like, um, yeah,
It was just like a regular show but earlier.
way more strict than the old early
Yeah.
show.
Just throwing a CD at somebody and being like, I don't know,
Yeah.
figure it out. Play
So
it
I
down by
felt like it
three.
was fine. I mean, there was a couple times maybe we'd get carried away with banter and the show would go over, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's just frustrating that they're not going to do it anymore because people would come early to see the show, and now that there's no show, the last 2 weeks, there's no one there until 11. So it's like, why not just do the fucking show if no one's there? You
Yeah.
know?
Who knows? They don't
Make
how
it
any
make
of them think.
sense. Make it
How
make sense.
nothing makes sense with people who run nightlife who haven't worked in it as like entertainers. That never makes sense. The way they do anything.
And especially if they're not fucking queer, like what the fuck?
Yeah. Right. Seriously.
Am I gonna get in trouble for this?
No, I'll send it. I mean, we'll cut whatever you want me to cut. I'm not gonna you get beat up. All the people are outside like, you don't like straights. Well, anyways, where can people follow you?
I don't have Facebook and I don't have Twitter, but hey, I got an Instagram. It's creamy dreamy coleslaw. Oh yes. Not the oh yeah.
Perfect.
Just creamy dreamy coleslaw.
Creamy, dreamy coleslaw. And I'll link it down below too. Well, I think that we got that right under the I don't even have to go off and back on. Look how what's the word when you're on time?
Hot.
Punctual we were.
Yeah.
Hot and punctual. And we'll
I
leave
miss you. It's
I,
nice seeing you. You
I
look beautiful. Your skin is all taut. Your brows are sculpted. Oh yes.
I just got my face done.
Luminous. And
Luminous.
congratulations on the finishing of your
Thank you.
treatments.
Thank you. Yeah, fuck cancer.
That's
Take
so
that.
fucking awesome. I
Well,
hope I'll come back. Fucked up.